the Vallejo City Unified School District to read the following proclamation. And I would ask, are there any other public school employees out there? Please come up and join us up here. So declaring September 2023 as Public School Month. Whereas our founding fathers established a great American public school system to enlighten the people, and whereas our system of universal public education provides the opportunity for strengthening America's future by educating our youth to become responsible citizens, and whereas a fair, just, and equitable civil society is predicated on a strong system of public education, and whereas in the year 1920, Public Schools Week was initiated by the Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons in California, and whereas the California Masons have more than a century supported public education through the observance of Public Schools Month and its related programs and initiatives. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, Robert H. Picano, Mayor of the City of Vallejo, and the Vallejo City Council, hereby designate September 2023 as Public Schools Month and urge all citizens to attend school board meetings, participate in observance of school board and school-related activities, and join in the concerted endeavors to support the efforts and goals of our school board members, administrators, teachers, and students. Dated September 12th, 2023, and signed by Mayor Robert H. Picano.
We at the Vallejo Unified School District will be proud to convey this instrument to our superintendent, and I will introduce Brando Cruz, who is our acting master, and he will accept this proclamation on our behalf. I'm Gerald Bevan, I'm in the lodge. Brando Cruz, acting master.
Well, first of all, thank you everybody for this proclamation, Mayor, City Council. It's a great honor to receive this. And again, I'm basically the president, city president for the Vallejo Lodge, number 87. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you all very much. Can we get a quick photo op? Do you want it down there or? Just nice, yeah. Thank you.
You know where you sign up to speak? It's on.
That will move on to item 6, First Community Forum, which is actually a public sign-up block for the First Community Forum. And while that is running, I will announce that anyone signing into the speaker raising their hand after 2 minutes is up. When speak at the First Community Forum. Community Forum is an opportunity for members of the public to address the council, whether I'm not Any of the members of the public desiring to communicate with the city council as part of the community forum have a maximum of 15 minutes, each speaker limited to 3 minutes. As required by the Vallejo Municipal Code, section 2.20. Members of the public who address the council as part of the first community forum allowed to address the council in during the last meeting. Allow the time to go down, take in-person speakers first. And we have sufficient time, we'll take first speakers up. Member already.
Mayor, given the large amount of people that are here, I'm assuming there's a lot of folks that are going to want to speak. I would like to extend the time from the 15 minutes to 25
We want to do to extend it to a maximum of 25 minutes.
25 minutes so that we allow more people to speak now and not have to wait until the end of the meeting, which could be 12 to midnight.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, so the first community forum will be extended to 25 minutes, with 3 minutes for each speaker. And see how far. We have 26 speakers are in person already, right? All right, well, let's go ahead and start calling the first, the quicker you speak, the more speakers we will hear. Go ahead, call the first three speakers, please.
Manny?
First three speakers would be Jimmy Jean, Brittany Young, and Rivera Scott.
Can I just make a suggestion for the public, if there's any family members here, that would like to speak, but can't stay until later, if you're part of the out of community, and those family members would like to speak now, if you can't give up your space, or they can have their space to speak, then would appreciate that.
Couldn't hear. I counsel, I mayor. Fifth try for the Harvard House by Facebook and email responses, by signatures, online and in person, thousands saying, yes, sell it to save it. Destructive sounds of an unoccupied Herbert house, drying wood makes a cracking sound, a crunching sound of termites, the hiss of gas exhausting from mold. Fizz is the sound of calcifying cement. Loosening and tightening are very slightly audible, but no less destructive sounds when a building is unheated or unoccupied. Splintering sound as an unmaintained mature tree falls. We have a fiduciary responsibility to not allow the Herbert house to be destroyed. This is a battered can that should not be kicked down the road. The location works, has value because of the Herbert house. Council members, Mayor McConnell, please place the Herbert house on your agenda in September or October to sell it, to save it. Honor our business community, our landmark. It is history in a historic district. This is a solution. We're all looking for solutions. This is economic development. We're also looking for economic development. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Jim. Our second speaker, please.
We have Brittany Wine and Beverly Speak.
Good evening. I was just coming up here to McConnell and Malone. I had an email out on the drug and human trafficking issue that's happening in the Woodbridge area. We haven't had any progress on it. There's still a lot of transactions happening, and there's still a lot of children can't walk there, can go through there, and want to follow up.
Okay, Mr. Wong, do you have to speak with him, with her after the meeting?
Yeah, I'll try to get to,
Sorry?
He will, Ms. Malone will have somebody from his staff speak with you here in the audience before you leave the meeting.
Okay, so there's not my.
Back there, yeah. You our third speaker while we're waiting.
Next speaker is Luis, followed by Philip D.
Good evening. My name is Laverius Vines, and I'm here to talk on mental health. The last time I was here, I was requesting that you educate the county members with mental health so they'll know how to interact with people with mental illness. I can't ask that you educate your county workers without me educating myself. I have been fascinated since I started educating myself with mental health. I'm now reading books like The Myth of Normal. I'm listening to podcasts Where Her Heart Speaks. Doing everything that I can so that I can better assist my son, who is 35 and schizophrenic, and others that are like him. What I've learned is with trauma, you have an event, but the event is not what the trauma is. It's what the event does to you and how it changes you on the inside. So for me, my event was when my 35-year-old son, who is schizophrenic, was incarcerated, and they kept him for a few months. He didn't have any meds. He stopped walking, talking, and eating. And even at the judge's request that he be transferred, he was not transferred. He was still there. His last court date, they brought him in a wheelchair. And I watched my son go through this suffering without anything that I could do to even assist him. And for me, that was very traumatic. The judge put things in place, laws, so that it wouldn't happen again. He didn't put the law in place because he liked me and my son. He put the law in place because he was tired of the treatment that people with mental illness was receiving in jail. And he wanted to make sure that my son would be the last. A couple of months after that, the Solano County Sheriffs came after me and they arrested me for bomb threats for threatening to blow up the colleges. I was not there. My supervisor said I wasn't there. I was put out of school and I lost my job. I got into a very dark place in my life because it was a very malicious act. When you commit a malicious act on somebody, that's the kind of mental evilness that you inflict upon somebody. And I had to struggle to get my strength back to even be able to take care of both myself and my son. And today I'm here because this was like living in a nightmare. I couldn't even find anybody to even believe the things that were going on with me and my son that was being inflicted upon the sheriffs. It was like an old scary movie. You know that old scary movie, Poltergeist, with that little girl was stuck in that TV, and they kept saying, "Move toward the light, Carol Ann, move toward the light." My name is not Carol Ann, but we all need to move toward the light. It's time for a change.
Next is Philip D, followed by Jeff T, and then Shireen G.
Good evening, council. So actually what I wanted to do is be able to kind of get in front of you to be able to see if anybody was going to be participating in the forum on Thursday. You know, I really feel that the interim chief and the deputy chief are kind of off on an island with the inability to actually have any constructive building when you guys are essentially not there, who are in charge of creating a process for the Vallejo Police Department. In the last time, Loretta Diaz did speak, everybody else was absent in terms of speaking. You did not speak. Did you speak? Okay. You did not speak. So, speaking and standing behind a crowd, two different things. So, you know, today, my understanding is 9B is off the table. Did that get pulled? It got pulled?
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of want to understand why we're in state of an emergency, but then the first thing that happens is our city manager goes on vacation for a month. And then when he comes back, you guys talk about giving the police department Mare Island Way, even though you've all discussed not doing that. And then on top of that, instead of talking about creating an MOU, a comprehensive package that might create reform and recruitment to help build a better community between us and the police department, he wants a raise on top of his raise. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how the priority of that makes any sense to anybody. Because this guy doesn't care about anybody. You know, I was in a town meeting for Measure P, and I asked Mike specifically, are there mechanisms to ensure that money from Measure P was spread equally through all the districts? This man had the nerve to roll his eyes, agitated, but you know what the truth is everybody cares for all 129,000 people in the city. And you can roll your eyes again at me, it doesn't matter, Mike. So, my thing is, you guys gotta stand there and not speak, but come Thursday, all hell's gonna break loose for Tom and for Gomez, and you guys aren't gonna be there. You, the one negotiating with the VPOA, the least that you can do is stand by your associates, the one that you've left behind. Because what's gonna end up happening is, you're gonna overwork those guys, they're gonna lose their efficiency, they're gonna lose their integrity, they're gonna lose their patience, and then there's gonna be a tragedy. Then there's gonna be a shooting. And who's gonna be responsible then? You got officers working 16, 17-hour shifts. What do you think's gonna happen at the end of that shift? Who's gonna be responsible then? You guys are smart, you guys know I like most of you, but the reality is that something needs to be done. People need to be able to feel safe on the streets, and we need to prioritize. We're not prioritizing your race or Ned's race or anybody else's. Let's make people start feeling safe again.
Next speaker is Jeff T, followed by Shireen G, and then Renee.
My name is Jeff Traeger. I want to thank whoever personally for helping putting on the hot August night in August. It was you, Mr. Malone. Thank you so much, because you can't believe how the community came out every week. We had great music. We had great artists out there, and it was great for the community. I mean, it was really something. On another subject, this weekend, my partner and I, Kevin Frazier, put on the Dhaka Bay Festival, where we had at least 4,500 people out there. We had Average White Band, we had Vallejo's own Confunction, and we had Mr. Cool, we had Morris Day and The Time, and I've never seen that place so packed. This is wonderful for Vallejo and for Mare Island, because nothing brings the community together more than music. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Next speaker is Shireen G, followed by Greg, and then Jose C.
Good evening, my name is Sherry Ann Grimm, and I'm here tonight not to talk about CFPs. I'm here actually because last spring the City Council agreed to make efficient, effective, and responsive governance a priority in Vallejo. And there have been many examples since last spring that point to the fact that the leadership staff of the city is failing to deliver those priorities. I'm not going to list them all tonight, but I want to talk to you about service leadership. I had the opportunity to meet many of you individually when we were doing Zoom calls over the CFDs. And what I saw in you was service leaders. You had good ideas, you had hopes, but most importantly, you cared about the people in this community, and that gave me hope. Service leaders realize that they have a lot to learn from the people that they serve. Service leaders make people they serve the priority. Their key focus is customer centricity. They lead in a way that demonstrates care and concern for people. What we in Vallejo experience is the exact opposite. We have leaders who lead with power and fear. They do it because they can, not because it's what's right. And poor leadership shows up in low engagement surveys, high attrition rates, vacant positions, absenteeism. Sound familiar? Leading from traditional positional leadership centered around hierarchy, the bottom line, and obsession with outcomes often comes at the expense of people. If the council continues to allow the leadership staff to treat people disrespectfully, not respond, maneuver, manipulate, trample on the concepts of transparency, effectiveness, efficiency, and responsiveness, then well, that's on the council. And sooner or later, this will all blow back on you, and that is unfortunate, because I don't think you deserve it. The council is responsible to hold staff accountable to the values that you hold true. And if you don't, the staff will take you down with them. Decide if council members are service leaders or the alternative. Service leaders are not motivated by power, but rather caring for others in the city that you chose to represent. If you care about the people, then do something about the behavior of your leadership staff. Hire service leaders, not people who can't deliver on the priorities that you have made.
Next speaker is Greg, followed by Jose. C.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. I like to start out by saying, I live in an area called Glen Cove. I hope somebody's familiar with the area. I've been in that community for about 30 years. I've been a scoutmaster, a baseball coach. I received things like a Medal of Valor from the state of California. So I'm not here to do anything but address a problem that I've had. There was a fire in the Glen Cove Hills in August. And that fire left us with some things we weren't expecting. I've spoke to different people in that community, in my community, and the problem is resting in rats, R-A-T-S, rats. One of my neighbors I spoke to today, he's killed over 100 rats. Myself, I reached 70 rats. There are rats. After the fire, that was in August, occurred, the rats started increasing, and they're still increasing. My home is full of rat traps. I called the city of Vallejo, I called Solano County, and they tell me that there's nothing that they can do. And I'm saying, wait a minute, I'm a taxpayer. So somebody has to do something. This is not a small thing. This is an extraordinary number of rodents in our community. So what I'm trying to do is find out who on this board would be responsible to me as a taxpayer for me to say, hey, I have rats. What should I do? That would be. Could you say your first name? Okay. So you know where it is. You know right, it's right there. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Yes.
Maybe we could ask the county golf player. Thank you, sir. All right.
Next speaker is Jose Canizales, followed by Cornell S. And then David B.
First of all, I'd like to thank those who wished me well in the hospital while I was recovering. And a very, very special thank you to my great friend who picked up my car and kept it at her house for the 3 days until I was discharged from the hospital. In response to an article concerning the unsheltered issue, a comment by staff said, the city will continue to work on building relationships with the unhoused individuals in Vallejo by having continued conversation and contact, which is an amazing statement. What was the conversation with my unsheltered friends before their vehicles or RVs were being towed? What was the conversation with the family of 6 before their home was taken? The RV that was taken was their home, 4 children, 2 adults. What was the conversation? The children were visibly stressed, scared, crying, tears running down their face. Imagine a small child behaving, acting that way. One of the children, who was visibly stressed out, asked her grandma, why are the police, while the grandma was holding her, clutching her in her arms, why are the police taking our home? Why are the police taking our home? Some of you on this council proudly, with great praise, pat yourself on the back. That you're such and proclaim how important it is to protect children, protect the rights of children. Well, where were you that day? Where were you? You want to say you protect children. You want to say the rights of children are so important. They were more important than the unsheltered population. Where were you that day when that RV was taken? Instead, a citizen of Vallejo was handcuffed, detained, placed in the back seat of a hot SUV, window open this much, and sat there. And he was placed back there for trying to help my unsheltered friends home from being taken away. I promise you, I will stand in front of 1,000 trains for my daughter and 6-year-old grandson. I will help my unsheltered friends whose voice is not heard, whose needs are not met. I will bring awareness to their plight for my unsheltered friends. Without fear, without hesitation, I will proudly be arrested 10,000 more times. I will proudly, for those who are the most disrespected, harassed, bullied, intimidated, threatened population in this community.
Next speaker is Cornell S., followed by David B. Cornell S. Next, David B. and then Lee B.
Good evening, council. My name is David Belliff, I'm a 23, almost 4-year resident here. Thank you. Thank you, council, mayor, staff, everybody. Some of you know me. I want to especially thank the council members that reached out to me recently regarding an issue from a previous meeting. Thank you. We'll work through this. I'm sure we will. I realize this job is often thankless. It's so difficult. You cannot possibly be everywhere at all times. You can't possibly do everything. I understand that. I do want to encourage everybody to do their best to revisit our general plan. Our general plan carries what a lot of the hopes and dreams of the citizens of this city and the prior councils voted to implement. So going forward with that, I want to bring your attention to some of the open space issues and quality of life issues that go beyond just the social aspects, but the physical aspects of our city. We want to make certain Vallejo remains a great place to live once we've straightened out everything else. So To that, we have Blue Rock Springs Park, the golf course development. There's some issues there with trail access and people being able to go through from Hobbs Park all the way up to Blue Rock Springs. We want to make certain that stays open. We have issues with the Bluff Trail, which you will be voting on later tonight, and the connectors to that, all part of our general plan, all part of our active transportation plan and our complete streets. Then I'd like to say that today I took a group of 30 plus Vallejo school children to Rush Ranch, and it was an amazing experience for these school children. Vallejo has the opportunity to do the same thing right here in our own city, so long as we don't sell it to developers. We don't need to bring our children all the way to Sassoon and Vacaville when we have it right here. So when it comes to a vote later, it's not on today's agenda, obviously, but we will be eventually. We'll be talking about the San Pablo Bay and the refuge there. We will be talking about other open space issues, McIntyre Ranch, which is part of GVRD, but we have a lot of influence with them. We need to encourage all of these properties to remain open to the citizens of Vallejo so that we all have a wonderful place for our children, grandchildren, etc. Thank you again. Oh, before I go, before we encourage more development, let's hold accountable the commercial landowners that have decrepit and properties that are lining Sonoma Boulevard already. Before we go into development, let's make certain they're doing what they need to do, which is in our code already. Thank you.
Good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Lee Merritt. I am a Pennsylvania-based civil rights attorney hired by the family of Sean Monterosa to file a civil rights suit against the city of Vallejo, which you all are familiar with, and that's ongoing. It's actually not why I'm here tonight. The family of Sean Monterosa hired me shortly after Sean was murdered here in Vallejo, in probably one of the most heinous officer-involved shootings I've ever been exposed to. And unfortunately, I see this day in and day out. In fact, when the Monterosa family contacted my office, I was working with the family of George Floyd, which Sean was here protesting the heinous murder of George Floyd. And it was the time, as you all know, in 2020, of so-called national reckoning began to deal with police violence. In addition to being a constitutional attorney, I have the benefit of working with community as an organizer. And as we work with families in Minnesota to organize the community, and we were able to work with the city council there to come up with some greater steps of accountability. I've organized with other communities, like the community of Brunswick, where Ahmaud Arbery was murdered while taking a jog with his neighbor. And we decided that certain outcomes were not going to be acceptable. In fact, as you all know, the Constitution says that you all derive your power from where? From the consent of the government. And if you lose their consent, you lose your authority to govern. And so on behalf of the Monterosa family and the community standing with them, it's clear, we don't consent to the return of Jared Todd to the streets. In the 30 seconds I have left remaining, I want to encourage you all not to believe the own myth of your inability to do anything about it. There are some rules set up that ties your hands on procedurally how you can proceed. But you are the elected officials of this city. And I'm telling you, the people reasonably have come to the conclusion that it's not acceptable to put that man back on these streets. You know it's not. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, you're a constitutional scholar, you're an attorney as am I. Do you have any recommendations as to how we deal with the adverse arbitrator's decision?
Abolish DPOA. I appreciate, Mr. McDonald, that you're asking the question. And I don't think that we're gonna answer it in a 30-second soundbite. I assume that by asking the question, you're interested in pursuing those options. And I certainly offer myself, my resources, and an international group of people who work with cities across the country to come up with a reasonable answer to that question.
We've been given suggestions since Mario Romero was killed, since Angel was killed, since we've been getting suggestions. We've been speaking as families how to suggest how y'all can go about doing this. This one, not to mean anything, but to say that just because he has credentials and just because he has this, that his input on to give you suggestions is any more valid than us as family suggestions, it's bullshit.
We are at the end of our council approved much extended 25-minute time period. It's a pleasure of council to I can't hear you. This is here on council. Extend the 25 minutes.
I would like to extend it. I think that, excuse me. I would
Do
like to
it.
extend the time because this is an issue that has been going on too long. We have removed people. Even if we have to remove some of the items that we have, even if we have to remove some of the items that we have for a later time, I would want to listen to the people that are here. Thank you. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in, but I could do another 20 minutes.
I don't object to the 20 minutes.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock, okay?
Yeah, because
we'll
we
go till 8
have,
o'clock. And let's leave there to be comment Thursday,
Mr. Mayor, just before I call the next speaker, just to let the mayor know we have 24 speakers left. If we're to go to 8 o'clock, I think 3 minutes each will take us 3.
I won't be long.
See, that would be another.
Let's not waste any more time. I'm gonna start because the more you
2 minutes each so that we can get all the 24 speakers. Go ahead, Michelle, is that you?
Well, thank you. Don't want to be here under these circumstances, but as you know, like we said, we will continue to, all the families, not just us, turn every stone which you guys have allowed. I know many of you guys may have not been a part of it, or you have, right? But this has been an ongoing problem. My brother Sean is just a little piece of this problem. This has been going on since 2012, and even before that. You guys have clearly ignored all the families before us, and now we're in such a crucial moment. We had I would call him a reformer chief, Chief Shawn Williams, with you guys allowed for the union to run him out. He was for standing with the families and creating a police oversight where our voices were heard. We're tired of having to come back and reopen these wounds of 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years, and so on, to every time we get a little sense of justice and then it's just robbed from us. So I urge you guys to put it on your next agenda to bring up what you guys are going to do about Jared Tom going back on the street, because we do not want him on the street. And one thing, I'll at least speak, but there will be money being put into an escrow fund to police Jared Tom if he is going to be back on the street, because we know that with him and having previous other 3 shootings, he is not safe to this community. He will be going around, and I will say, I read the court transcripts from the badge banging report with Captain Ken Tribble. Jared Tom's name was shared there, so if you guys know that he's a badge vendor and you guys are going to allow him to go back on the street, that's even more liability for the city. I don't want this city to be bankrupt again, because people in this community deserve resources. They deserve everything that we have in San Francisco. This community does not deserve to be ignored by you guys, let alone the families. And I have too much to say, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. And I just hope you guys know that there's an urgency. There's a pattern practice investigation happening. There's a criminal investigation happening by the DOJ. Do not allow yourself to be on the wrong side of justice when the DOJ says.
Next speakers, Angel R. and Richard C. And then Tiny G. Angel R. Richard C. And yes, Tiny G. That's the name.
Tiny G.
T-I-N-Y.
Angel out there. Angel out there.
Richard C. Tiny G.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And my name is Richie Cruz. I'm a field rep for Carpenters Union Local 180. I've just been stationed here, and I just wanted to take a brief moment to introduce myself and speak about some labor standards that we at Carpenters hold at high regard. And that is a commitment to medical and retirement benefits, local hiring opportunities, and a commitment to an apprenticeship program. You know, it's a sad fact that over 50% of all construction workers are on some type of financial aid. This goes in hand with financing 4 to 5 hours of commute time daily, chasing opportunities in other communities in order to provide. Local hiring opportunities not only gives us back more time with our families, but instills our pride of being able to point at developments and say, I built that. You know, I swung that hammer. I had a huge part in that development. It's an amazing feeling that I will never get over. And another regard that we hold in high standard is a commitment to an apprenticeship program. This ensures that we are always evolving with the ever-changing conditions of construction, that we teach the future generation of carpenters to uphold our legacy as the master craft. We truly are that. Carpenters built this building that we are having a meeting in. You know, I'm proud to say that this is not only a membership, but this is a committee that uplifts all communities and members of the community. It took me in 20 years old, homeless, not really following a straight line, and the carpenters not only showed me how to draw a straight line, but how to reach out to other people who are in my same situation and how to teach them how to draw a straight line too. So I'm so proud to be a part of this membership. Thank you and the entire town of Vallejo apparently for allowing me to speak, and I look forward to working with you guys.
Tiny G, followed by Mercedes C. Angel R. Is that you?
Angel Ramos, you can say it. My name is Antoinette Sadler. I'm the sister of Angel Ramos. I really don't know what to say that hasn't already been said. I think, like I just said earlier, for y'all to allow time back on the streets, you might as well dig our loved ones back up. You might as well put Sean back on his knees, and you might as well pull the trigger yourself again. You letting these people back on the street time and time again. You asking other people's suggestion when we've been up here. My mama was up here on her birthday, on a birthday that she had to celebrate without her son, giving suggestions on what y'all can do to be a better people, better whatever y'all call yourselves for the community. Jacobson has resigned from Vallejo Police Department. And the law that got put into place for him to get decertification, it reached the statute of limitations. There will never, ever be any accountability except what comes out of our mouth for Jacobson when it comes to my brother. Never. And whether he lied under oath, regardless of what it is that he did, I can guarantee 100% because of the corruption and the foundation of this country, which is rooted and there's blood spilled into white supremacy in this fucking country, that there is going to be another police department somewhere in this fucking country that will hire him again. And y'all not gonna learn until one of us as family members or someone in the community takes matters into our own hands. Because if I went and did the same shit to Jacob City that he did to my brother, I would be in jail in that moment, if not killed right there. Y'all would be having parades for that man's funeral. Y'all would be having parades. If I went to that man's back porch and I shot his children dead, the way he shot my brother dead, I would be dead. I would be locked up. Something would be happening. But the fact that there will never, ever, ever be anything that we can do, I don't give a fuck how much money y'all gave us. That it don't mean nothing. That money don't mean nothing. We in a different house, we in a different city, but we still living with the same pain, the same trauma, the same tears. We have to live in a new house, building new memories that my brother will never be able to be a part of. Only through spirit. We have to wake up in the house every morning knowing that the only reason we have that house is because y'all did not hold y'all people accountable in this city. I don't care if we move into a 20-bedroom mansion. That shit does not bring my brother back. I don't care how much money is in the world. That is blood money. We could breathe a little bit better. Maybe my mama ain't got to go to work every day. But at the end of the day, she still has to wake up every day. My brother is not here. Sean's not here. Cat Daddy's not here. Mario's not here. All them 33 people that has been killed by BPD and within the last year or two that's been shot but not killed, that has been beaten but not killed, they still have to live with that. And y'all letting somebody back on the street and y'all acting like y'all don't know what to do, like y'all don't have the suggestions, like y'all haven't been given the amount of time. And that's why the fuck the state has to come in. That's why the fuck the motherfucking attorney general has to come in and oversee all this shit. Because y'all didn't do what y'all were able to do. Y'all were given an adequate amount of time to get y'all reform in fucking order, and y'all couldn't do that. Y'all put one or two things in place out of the 40 plus that y'all was supposed to do. Y'all know what I have to put in place? My brother's headstone, our brother's coffin, vigils, candles, pictures, in frames. I have to put that in place. Y'all didn't put nothing in place. But two fucking things.
Finally, G. It's time to follow by where I say this C and then D, D-E-A.
Yeah, thanks you. First of all, I just want to say that y'all aren't really listening to anything. These are our folks right here. Because what is a city council if it ain't the city? And I hear from the city right here. Yeah! This is occupied Miwok and Ohlone territory. It has been occupied by Southern colonial forces like y'all who keep it in place, and we're all talking, and we have a little happy thing in the beginning for somebody who did something once. And then meanwhile, sons and daughters are being killed. And y'all are sitting up there holding down this little ark. Thank you, sister, for actually pushing back a little bit. Thank you for that. This whole thing is what I call hypocrisy. And everybody out here, this is your motherfucking city, family. And those are our sons and daughters. And it doesn't matter what settler town we talk about, because the same settler colonial government is in place, killing our sons and daughters. And so the bigger question that we have for you, that I hope that you can answer, is when will you stop killing our people? That's the bigger question. There's really nothing else to say. You are openly allowing people inside of your lives to continue murdering. And like the sister before me said, if any of the folks in this room did any of the shit that these cops do, they would be in prison. Absolutely. Or dead. Or dead. Thank you. So here we are right now in this nice, like, long song. And you're not saying anything. And you're letting us speak. And we got our signs. And let the people speak. But my challenge to you all is to support this one person who spoke up, this Noela Diaz, and listen to all of these warriors right here. And put that person, that murderer, where they belong, which is banished out of this entire community and out of all these United States, which is all a lie because all y'all have stolen the land from the first people any motherfucking way.
Mercedes C. Followed, almost 8 o'clock. Mercedes C and then D. A. D.
If a family member wants to come up and take my place first.
Thank you.
Are you Mercedes?
Good. I mean, you know, there's a real pig infestation in Vallejo. If you want to take care of that, like the rat infestation.
Say that!
Thank you for that, yeah. So, I got a realization actually today that a lot of people have never fully heard about the badge benders and what the badge bending is. It kind of reads like a plot of a movie, you know? Like, I don't even know, probably the people in this room, if everyone even knows what the badge bending is. We're all here for, support the families. We've heard of these terrible, terrible stories, but the badge benders, I mean, listen to the plot of the movie, right? Like, there's a little city by the bay, they're known for Mac Dre, E40, Black culture, really, popular for that. And in it is a little secret gang that when they kill Black and brown people, they bend the tip of one of their badges and then go kick it at the relay and have a barbecue, have a drink, you know what I'm saying? They celebrate this, and then you're a part of their little secret little club. And then after years and years of killing all these people, evidence stuff starts coming up missing. The badge bending report won't be released, even though they've been demanding for that to come out. But why won't it be released? A bunch of bureaucratic bullshit that doesn't mean anything. None of it means anything. What you have is y'all are protecting a bunch of murderers. Great plot to a movie though. But you are all in on the scheme. You are all in on the cover-up of these murders. Yeah, the KK cops that you all are protecting. And then you have the VPOA, police union. What is a police union? The unions are there really to protect us against the police. But you are protecting this police union. The police union got a murderer rehired, and you're just letting him back on the force? With back pay? Who's going to see that movie? We all going? Okay. This needs to stop. You already know what you need to do. Justice for Sean, justice for all the family members.
D-A, what's up, Mercedes? Thank you. D-A is D. Israel. It's Israel. D-A here. Israel is here. How about Mary? Mary.
The DA's not here, the DNA here.
We're in solidarity with Sean. So we know city manager that the Vallejo Police Department endorses you personally, and so there's going to be a stop to that. This is why you guys are allowing these officers to continue this pig terror that is inflicted upon us throughout the communities. Not only in Vallejo, this is an ongoing occurrence everywhere in America with a K. So, disqualifying immunity murders what they can do to me with a license to kill through the black and brown community. Absolutely no repercussions or consequences. In fact, they get paid vacation with incentives. The 911 caller needs to be sentenced. Hate crime, discrimination, or racism. There need to be alternatives for calling emergency. When the police hit the scene, there's a good chance that they're murdered. No justice for the people. I mean, this is absolutely tyrannical behavior. Justice for Sean, and we're here for the people that have been inflicted by pig terror. Thank you.
Israel, Mary G. Rodin C. Juju A. The lady, what is her name? Mary, are you Mary? Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna say the big scary thing. Vallejo Police Department needs to be completely disbanded and restarted. And that sounds really crazy, but it's been done in another city called Camden, New Jersey. Look it up. I'm not gonna give you a whole lesson right now. But it sounds scary to say abolition. We should abolish a whole police department. And abolition have always been seen as some kind of radical utopian idealist because they were the ones back in slavery time saying that we should end slavery. Meanwhile, liberals said we should just make slavery better. Yeah, so abolish BPD, start it over again, because the culture is so toxic in Vallejo. It's a state of emergency. The police department is so bad. Y'all are bankrupt because they keep killing people. They have a badge-bending investigative report that won't be let out, but we know because of a whistleblower.
Bro, go ahead and take my seat right there behind.
And if you can't do that, as a bare minimum, fire Jared Tom. Yeah. How is it that someone who is sworn to protect us is killing us? This is not a police department. This is a gang. And they're a powerful one. And they get 40% of the budget of this city. When that could be redistributed into schools, into programs for people who are underserved. Do your job. It's embarrassing that we have to be here again. Like, your jobs are next. Y'all can't do this. We're gonna find people who will.
We'll all do it in 60 seconds each.
If the citizens
Just so y'all know how we feel.
and if we, let's go ahead and finish them off and then take a recess.
Okay, all right. So we overcame
In 60 seconds, we're not in a rush to rush people through. We're extending this because we want to hear you.
Governing body of Vallejo. I myself am not from Vallejo. I am a California. I am a big.
Excuse me, sir, are you Rodin G? Rodin C?
With an eye. I'm out of Fresco. I grew up in Richmond at 5. I was a neighbor of Vallejo. I came back here and I've been under the threat of the government ever since COINTELPRO. I'm a citizen of this country, but I am not American. Okay? What has appalled me, and still appalls me, is that you want to pay someone who murdered, who modern day lynches of fellow people. And to support that, I just cannot. It's bad, and it puts a really bad sore on California, like Cop City, that was spread to this whole nation. I have a lot to say, but mainly I need to address these young people because like Monterosa and
Willie
ever
McCoy!
since I've been here, when they killed Grant, Oscar Grant, and the kids I've seen come out of Vallejo, to shoot somebody in a fast food driveway, it's not fair. It's hurtful. I meet these kids, and I pray for these kids because they have followed the Western way. They're using guns against them, and no one's winning. I just pray that you follow the right move and abandon this road to license this person carry a gun again in this supposed civil city. That's all I have to say to you.
Next is Juju A, followed by Sean M.
City manager back there running, getting frantic.
Good evening. My name is Juju. I just want to say and give my condolences to the family of Monterosa. And I want to offer a song because I think that it's important for us to bring prayer into this because this is something that's deeply spiritual and deeply disheartening. And sometimes I think we need strength. And I follow the Ifa tradition, and one of the deities that we sing to is Ilegua, and he is the owner of the crossroads. And I hope that this song will open up all of your hearts to really bring some change because we need it. Ilegua go, Anna. Ilegua go, Anna. Ilegua go, Anna. Ilegua go, Anna.
Next is Sean M. Sean M, followed by Ray, and then